Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Fangen wir erstmal mit einem Kompliment an, ne?
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Oh, you.
Und ja, wie geht's
Tell
dir
me
denn?
about yourself.
Me? Oh, surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
Oh, come on, Gran.
All right, dear. What do you want to hear?
Ja, was machst du den ganzen Tag?
What do you do all day?
You know how I love to knit and work in my garden? I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
You're not old.
Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas, corn, cotton, all kinds of things. It was a good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
I met Harrison at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back then, a big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come to me to find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend Alma, and at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fire and brimstone antics, and a piece of it, one of those small add-on do's for men, went flying off. I swear, Harrison and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. It was then I knew that he was for me.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Just tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddad and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies, whether he wanted to or not.
Just tell me anything at all.
I get lonely sometimes, but I have lots of girlfriends in the neighborhood. I call one of them if I'm feeling blue.
Just tell me anything at all.
I wish you'd settle down and give me a great-grandchild.
Oh, Gran.
Okay, ich denke, das ist ein guter Zeitpunkt, um mal.
Oh, nothing, never mind.
All right, dear.
Ja, dann ja, fragen wir noch ein bisschen was über die Vergangenheit.
Tell me about our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Oh, so viel gleich wieder. Das war unser Vater, ne?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Ach ne,
Your
Großvater.
granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He worked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Philipp war der Vater.
Tell me about yourself.
What more do you want to know, dear?
Ach so, da haben wir...
Oh, nothing, never.
Ja, ist gut. Dann... Ja, hat man noch was
Tell
zu
me
merken?
something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. I'll tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. The nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he'd lost another. And I would tell him. It didn't matter to me. But he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Naja, ist auch schon logisch.
Tell me about yourself.
What
Ach
more
Mann,
do you
schon
want
wieder
to...
falsch geklickt.
Oh, nothing.
Oh, wie das?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. Took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
I know you are, dear.
Das war aber relativ früh. Wie viel gibt's denn
Tell
da
me
noch?
something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was! He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting. I always thought he should have done something with that gift. But he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
Noch mehr?
Tell me something about Granddad.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Na, das reicht ja auch langsam. Dann mal jetzt den Vater.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him. Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. They were 2 peas in a pod.
Mhm. Er hatte doch auch Albträume. Da irgendein Zusammenhang besteht?
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then, and he looked at plenty. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel, and your granddad's.
Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8. It was the thought of taking care of you that kept me going, Gabriel. The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road or a wild cat.
Oh, a Wildcat. Mit 8 Jahren sind also seine Eltern schon gestorben. Mann, Mann.
Tell me about my father.
Your granddad wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school, but Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
Mhm. Noch mehr?
Tell me about my father.
He always hated it that it was Margaret's money that supported the 3 of you when his painting couldn't. I kept telling him, try something more cheerful, like a landscape or 2. But he couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
Tell me about my father.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Das reicht ja auch erstmal. Dann, das ist jetzt die Mutti, nehme ich an.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked defying her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be a sweet gesture.
Maybe I will.
Mhm. Warum hat das jetzt Punkte gegeben? Egal, wir machen weiter.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from her great-aunt, who happened to like Philip. The remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Mhm.
Tell me about my mother.
The Templetons are all gone now. Every last one of them. They never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
Naja, wer kennt das nicht?
Tell me about my mother.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Mhm. So, was hat man noch? Ach, sie selbst hatten wir das
Tell
schon?
me about
Ach doch,
yourself.
klar hatten wir das schon.
What more do you want to know, dear?
Erzähl mir aber nochmal was.
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
Just tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will.
Ja, das ist auch ein schöner Schlusssatz.
Oh, nothing, never mind.
All right, dear.
Zumal wir den schon hatten. Dann, ja, ich glaube, wir haben... Ach nee, die oben, die Sachen haben wir noch nicht.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? What an odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and granddad. I don't know anything about it, dear. Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear about it so much these days. Too much else in the world to worry about, I guess.
Mhm. Zum Beispiel über Monster-Movies. Hast du wirklich
What can you
nichts?
tell me about voodoo?
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Okay.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to. I sometimes wonder what this world is coming to.
Dann war's
What
das
do
jetzt,
you
ne?
know about the voodoo murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing.
Na gut, das hatten wir gerade. Dann über New
What
Orleans.
can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is very southern. Of course, though not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
Noch mehr über New Orleans?
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
My goodness, boy. You've lived here all your life just like me. I can't tell you much that you don't already know.
Ich denke, das wird reichen. Dann ja, hatten wir alles, denke ich mal. Nochmal kompliment
Have
zum
you
Schluss.
baked any of your incredible molasses pies lately?
No, dear. But you let me know when you want some, and I'll whip up half a dozen.
Ja, das glaube ich. Na gut. Das reicht. Was war jetzt hier
You're looking
nochmal?
well, Gran.
Achso, natürlich.
Thanks, dear.
So, ja, wir sollen ja mal nach oben gucken. Hat sie eingangs erwähnt. Halt. Och, Mann. Was ist das für eine Schublade?
Granny likes soft lighting.
Sie bevorzugt auch gedämpftes Licht. Na. Wissen wir ja, woher das kommt.
Granny likes the lamps lit.
Das mag Granny. Na gut. Ja, geh mal hier hoch.
I'm going to go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
Der Staub wird jetzt nicht so die Sorgen machen. Ja. Und da gucken wir uns dann gleich das nächste Mal weiter um. Und ich unterbreche das hier mal eben kurz.